Hello and welcome to Morning Trade with Moneycontrol. I'm Karunya Rao and I'm here to help you navigate the trading day with actionable trading strategies, sectoral trends and most importantly, your queries during the course of the show. So please keep commenting on our live feed and we'll have your questions addressed by our technical expert later on in the show. But before introducing our guests, let's see what the global setup looks like. Wall Street limps back after Tuesday's massive sell-off. US futures are mildly in the green, while the Nikkei and Kospi in Asia are clocking in modest gains. SGX Nifty is signaling a positive start well above 18,000. European markets closed lower as investors continue to digest the latest inflation data out of the US. Stoxx 600 ended 0.8% lower with almost all sectors and all major bourses sliding into the negative territory. Metal index rallies for the fourth day on the trot. Is the tide turning for metal stocks? We find out on the show and also put the spotlight today on Balaji Amines, Hfcl, GSK Pharma and Sundram Fasteners. Okay, let's talk technicals with our first guest, Ajit Mishra from Religare Broking. Morning, Ajit, and thanks for taking time out. Talk to us about the trade setup. It's also the weekly expiry. So what kind of an action are you projecting?
Good morning, Karunya. So, Karunya, today is the weekly expiry, and yesterday when the global markets were down badly, we saw tremendous resilience, and we ended almost with the marginal losses. So that clearly indicates that we are in strong hands, and especially when it comes to the index, 17,800 in the Nifty positionally, is acting as a very strong support. But at the same time, 18,100 is what we are shying away from. So today, I feel that it could be a range-bound day, after the action in back day in the yesterday's trade. And 18,100 could be the area basically where we might see the profit taking coming in again. And downside close to around 7,900 to 18,000 would continue to act as a support. So it's a very narrow range that we are anticipating, and a decisive break above 18,100 would further fuel this momentum, and we are eyeing 18,350 positionally. Banking is something which actually, helping the market when the IT and the other back takes a backseat, and it's almost, trading on the verge of making a record highs. So any dip, in the banking back closer to around 40,600 to 40,300, that should be utilized, to initiate any fresh longs. And positionally, as we are closer to the record highs, 41,900, if I'm not wrong, was the area basically where we tested last time as a record high. So we can easily take off that zone, considering that not only the private banking space, even the PSUs are contributing to the move. So the bias is positive for both the indices, but for the intraday Nifty, I feel that 18,100 will continue to act as a resistance.
Okay. All right. Let's also talk about some individual names that could be in the limelight on back of news flow. The first name I want to flag off is Balaji Amines. They've completed phase 1 of a 90-acre greenfield project, and they've already started the phase 2 of it as well. So some greenfield expansion on the cards for Balaji. Last 1 month, if you look at the August moves, largely, I think in that 100 rupees range, the stock has been sort of trading both upwards and otherwise. But from these levels, just below that 3,700 rupees levels, where do you see it going? Could it consolidate further, or could it see a breakout of sorts?
So, Karunya, if we talk about this stock, we had a phenomenal surge, post the COVID move. The stock moved up roughly from around 850, 400 levels. And from last 1 year, we have been seeing this corrective move, retracing the stock from the record highs. But important aspect is that around 2,800, 3,200 zone, it has formed a very strong base before making this recovery, which we are seeing right now. And as you have rightly mentioned, that it's again in a very narrow range. It's kind of a pivot that's forming on the daily chart, and indications are in the favor of this positive momentum to extend further above the level of around 3,800. So yes, you can in fact preempt this move also, and you can go long at the current levels with 3,500 as stop loss. And above 3,800, we can easily see the stock testing a level close to around 4,100 to 4,200 levels.
Okay. The second name also that I want to flag off is from the broader markets, and this one is a trader's favorite, Hfcl. They've bagged an order worth 448 crore rupees from BSNL as well as RailTel combined. So BSNL's order is about 340 odd crore rupees. RailTel Corporation's order is worth 107 crores. So order wins coming in. Typically stocks tend to react in a positive way, at least on the day the news flow is out. But Ajit, talk to us about the medium-term scenario for HFCL. Last 2-3 months have been a good ride up, but will it continue?
See, currently, broadly, if you see this stock, it has been trading again in the range, broader range, close to around 94, 95 is the upper band and around 55 on the lower side. So from last almost 1.5 years, we are seeing this broader range continuing. It's currently in the middle of the band and indications are in the favor that yes, this move can extend further. And the first resistance could come closer to around 85, but 95 is going to be the major hurdle in the medium term. So obviously, since the trend is up, we are seeing base formation on every uptick. So the lows are highest. So indications are in the favor that we are going to extend this move towards the level of around 95 if we consider at least 1 to 2 months kind of a time horizon. And 70 should be the base, means your stop loss in case if you are initiating fresh long from the medium term perspective.
All right. Okay. Next up is JSK Pharmaceuticals. LIC has offloaded close to 2% stake in the company, and after this hiving off of stake, its holding in JSK Pharma stands at 4.4%. Let's talk about JSK. The volumes haven't been very impressive last 1 month. Neither have been the gains. Completely flattish returns. What's the way ahead?
See, Pharma, in fact, the entire pack, Karunya, if you see that except Sun Pharma and Cipla, we're hardly seeing any traction. So it's not, something which is exceptional when it comes to GSK. And in fact, I feel that in a market like this, wherein the aggressive names means the rate sensitives are doing well, it's prudent to stick with these stocks which are trading in sync with the market. So apart from IT, I feel one sector which one can avoid at present is Pharma. So for a time being, it's an avoid, in case if you are looking for any trade in the pharma space.
Okay, all right. And the fourth name on our list, Sundram Fasteners then. ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund has picked about 0.6% stake in the company by buying close to 14 lakh shares at 845 rupees a piece. The seller in this transaction is promoter TVS Sundram Fasteners that has offloaded almost 25 lakh shares. But the headline clearly is that a big mutual fund like ICICI Pru has lapped up some shares here. Talk to us about how it's looking on the charts and what is it that you're observing going by the historical pattern.
So Karuna, can you please share the symbol, because I am unable to find the stock in my list. Yeah, now I can get it. Yeah. So what you have rightly mentioned is that the volumes are uneven. We do see a decent uptake in the volume every now and then, but we are not seeing a decisive pattern in the volumes. Price-wise, yes, we have seen a decent recovery from 650 to 900 levels, and indications are in the favor that it might inch toward 950 levels also, which was the previous swing high. So as of now, yes, you can maintain the longs, but it's not a trading bet that one can look at, because the volumes are slightly uneven. So I would recommend, in case if you have a view of making an investment for the short term to medium term, definitely you can look at the stock with 800 as a stop loss, because the risk reward is still favorable. 950 to 1000 is something that we are eyeing.
Okay, all right. Ajit, request you to stay on with us while we call out some queries for you. Meanwhile, I want to touch base with Jatin Damania of Kotak Securities to talk about what's happening in the metal space. Morning, Jatin. Great to have you on the show. Talk to us about the uptick. Talk to us about the uptick that many of these metal stocks are seeing, heavyweights and, the ones relatively smaller companies as well, all alike. Last couple of days especially have been very encouraging. Is it a sustainable trend, or do you think it's a temporary blip and the long-term or the medium-term picture still looks a little shaky for metals?
So, thank you, Karuna. So, from a Kotak Securities perspective, yes, we are cautious on the entire space. So, definitely, medium-term picture looks shaky in terms of the margin sustainability. And probably we still believe that there is a pressure as far as the Paris case is concerned in terms of the pricing as well as the costing. So yes, as per the street, if you look, there is a hope that there will be a recovery in the margin in the second half. But from a house perspective, we believe it's still a delusional approach. So yes, so we think that amid the upcoming margin contraction and uncertain steel price outlook, we expect the steel stock to remain under pressure in the near to medium term. The only stock from a Kotak Securities perspective that we are bullish on in the metal space is Hindalco, where we believe that the supply risk is again coming back into the system. And there could be a further announcement in terms of the cut to get the pace in the coming months. And that, if coincide with the recovery in the Chinese demand, can give a support to the aluminum prices. So Hindalco is our top pick in the entire metal space.
Okay, all right. What about the recovery that we've seen in the metal prices as well? And usually when the metal prices are soaring up, many of these companies tend to react quite negatively. But this time it has been an aberration where the prices are going up and so are the stocks as well of many of these mining companies or producers as well. So talk to us about the trend in metal prices also that you see going forward. Is this recovery sustainable? Will it again bounce back to the highs that we've seen at the start of the year? Or do you think they will eventually cool off and it's not going to sustain at these levels?
So in terms of the pricing, we believe that the pricing in the aluminum is sustainable because if you look from the European perspective, the global perspective, and this from the China. So current prices, as per our assessment in Europe market, are probably below the 98th percentile cost curve. And with European smelters at the higher end of the curve, we believe that there could be a sharp announcement in terms of the metal curtailment in the coming months, and that could support the overall supply risk. And if this coincides with the recovery in the Chinese demand, because China have already announced the stimulus measures and it has not materialized till date. So
right. Jatin, we have to, I think, reconnect with you again because I think your feed is not very clear. So we'll touch base with Jatin in a moment. Ajit is waiting by. In fact, incidentally, we're getting a lot of questions on the metal space as well. Ajit, how is Tata Steel looking to you? Mahendra has written to us and he wants your advice here on this counter.
So Karanya, in fact, metal space, we have seen, saw a very strong base formation in Tata Steel, after this strong recovery from the bottom, and almost it's a very narrow range congestion kind of a pattern that's forming. So this reward is very favorable. So in case if you wish to initiate fresh longs with the stop of around 105, you can go long with 115 to 120 as a positional target.
Okay, all right. Some more queries then. Vinay is writing to us and wants your view on Tata Consumer Products for 1 year time horizon. It's also, of course, in the news for, that Bisleri deal, the offer that they seem to have made. So, but talk to us about the technicals of Tata Consumer and how it's looking on the chart.
So Karanya, first a disclosure and disclaimer that we have recommended to our clients of late and both, for short term and medium term. And we are eyeing a level close around 880, 890 if I'm not wrong. That's our immediate target areas. And, if we talk about the positioning, it's very strong within the, FMCG space. The stock is almost trading at the record highs. We have seen a consolidation breakout, which, was almost for a year. So all indicators are in the favor that this momentum is not going to fade away anytime soon. So obviously you can go long even at the current levels. We have recommended close to around 810, 820 if I'm not wrong. So we have hardly seen any move yet. And above 80, which is the record high, we can see a new trajectory also. So yes, it's a buy and with positional stop at 800.
Okay, all right. Jatin is back with us. Jatin, you were talking to us about the metal pricing trend. Want to just carry on that conversation a little while longer. Talk to us about the way forward. You said you like Hindalco and aluminum prices also is something that you shared your view on. But how about other base metals, and how about steel companies perhaps? Many of these heavyweights are listed heavyweights. Any of them looking attractive at these levels from a long-term or a medium-term standpoint?
So, I started my answering my question that how we are focused on the entire space. So if you look from the steel perspective, we don't have any of the heavyweight as the top pick. So only top pick that we have in the entire metal space, whether you pick it as a ferrous or a non-ferrous, it's like Hindalco, where they have a buy rating with a target price of 550. So definitely, if you look from the perspective of the steel price has corrected sharply, but in the domestic market, they continue to remain at about premium to our import parity. This is largely because the production cut in the secondary sector, mainly the long steel product, which creates a floor for the flat steel prices, lower production at the primary steel mills because they have taken a maintenance shutdown in advance, and improved demand after the sharp correction in the steel prices. So definitely all these things leads to a assumption that there could be a margin recovery in the second half. But from Kotak Securities' point of view, we believe that the second half margin recovery appears to be a delusional based on the current spot price, as we see a downside risk to our prices as well as the current cost. So definitely, in terms of pricing that you are saying, we believe that aluminum prices will continue to have a firm price and there will be an uptick that we can see. But on the steel front, we believe that there is still a downside risk persists on the steel prices.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Jatin, for joining in and for sharing your view with us on the entire metals pack and tell us what exactly is going on there. Long-term view looks intact according to Kotak Securities. Okay, back to technicals once again. Ajit is standing by, so I want to just bounce off some more queries to you, Ajit. Sasidhar has written to us and he wants your view on Patanjali Foods for a long-term time horizon. How's it looking on the chart?
Karanya, we all know the kind of move the stock witnessed during 2020, and from last 2 years, we are seeing a gradual and stable consolidation in the stock with the bias on the positive side. It's again closer to its record highs, and we are seeing a decent amount of traction otherwise also. So yes, you can continue to hold this stock, and I feel that the kind of basing that we have seen in this stock around 1150 to 1050 zone, that clearly indicates that this level should hold from the medium to long term perspective, and upside above 1500, we expect this momentum to extend further. Okay,
all right. On to some more queries. Durga is writing to us, and she bought Zeal. And wants to know what is your advice. They've not written the buying price here really, but Z, yes, has seen a good uptake, in tandem with the rest of the market from June lows, but the quantum of growth or quantum of gains has not been as high. So talk to us about how Z is placed on the chart.
So, from the long-term perspective, if we talk about the challenges are still there, we are seeing a bit of base formation every now and then. But again, then some news comes in and we see a very sharp sell-off. This time around, we are again, reached to the level of around 280, 285 area, wherein we have multiple resistances. So in case if your view is short-term, I would recommend you to exit the stock and switch to any private banking names wherein we are seeing a move in line with the trend.
All right, okay. Next up is a stock from the cement pack, and it's ACC. Sanjay has sent us a message. He wants your view on ACC and if it's good for the long term. How's it looking right now, ACC, after the fabulous run-up that many of the cement stocks have seen, and so has ACC, which is hovering around its 52-week highs. What do you think lies ahead?
So Karanya, both ACC and Ambuja, within the cement space, if I say that they have a tendency to move higher, but it's a very gradual pace. But off late we have seen this tendency almost reversing that. They are trading in line with the other cement majors, the kind of quantum that we used to see, the momentum in Ultratech and the others. So we are seeing a similar kind of traction. The stock is at the record highs. We are not seeing any signs of weakness. The volume with every passing day is increasing. So I don't see any reason that in case if your view is long term, you should not stick to these bets. And since it's a record high, it's difficult to comment on the target. But considering the kind of base formation that we had, of late, near-term targets looks like 3,050 to 3,100.
Okay, okay, cool. Moving on then to next comment. This is from Vasu and wants your outlook on Dixon for September and wants to also know if it's likely to cross that 5,000 mark. What do you think?
So I would recommend, in case if you have views for just only for this month, buying fresh at the current levels would be like slightly, not in the line with the trend is, because we have this area close to around 2670, 2690, where the last swing high was made. So I feel there is possibility that we might consolidate and give you a better level to enter. So in case if it witnesses any dip around 44, 44.50 zone, around that area you can consider going long with 4,200 as stop loss, and above 46.50, 47.50. Yes, definitely can make an attempt to inch toward 5,000 level.
Okay. The next stock I want to bring up is also something that was very much in the news of late, and that's Federal Bank. Adi Rao has written to us and wants your view on this particular counter. What are the technicals pointing to?
So again, disclosure that we have recommended to our clients of late looks very strong after making a new record high. We have seen hardly marginal profit taking off late, but still holding up the short-term averages. That clearly indicates that the momentum is intact. With the stop of around 116, you can wait for a short-term target of around 130. And if your view is, let's say, medium term, I expect the stock to inch toward 150 levels also.
Okay. The next stock and the last query for the day that we're addressing, this is from Sudha and she wants your view on Britannia. Good run up again, seen last 2.5, 3 months, 350 rupees added on the upside, but the counter is still away from its 52-week high of 41.52. So do you think it's going to inch closer to those levels, or could it see some consolidation at the current juncture?
So yes, Britannia looks very strong. Again, we have recommended recently to our clients after the base formation that we have in stock around 3,600 levels, and what we are eyeing in the near future is 3,900, 3,950 area. So you can definitely maintain long, and alongside with Britannia, you can look at Marico also.
Okay, so not just Britannia, but even Marico looks strong on the technicals. How about your own stock ideas, Ajit? Which are the names you're keeping on your radar?
So currently, obviously, for the banking is something that we are closely eyeing for the new record high. So HDFC Bank, though we have seen a decent recovery, but still we feel that the momentum is intact. 1,600 is what we are eyeing in the HDFC Bank in the near future. So with the stop of around 1,490, one can go long in HDFC Bank. And Marico, as we were discussing just now, that the stock has formed a very strong base around 520 area, and we are anticipating a near-term target of around 550. So HDFC Bank and Marico, both you can consider for long positions.
Okay, then thank you so much, Ajit, for joining us and for sharing your picks and your views on a host of other stocks with our viewers. Great chatting with you. With that, we're timed out on this edition of Morning Trade with Moneycontrol, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. The Markets with Santo and CJ comes up next.